34. So they haven't even lit it up in years that they made the playoffs.
Right.
They've eked in. Okay? It's the all-time embarrassment and humiliation for Michael Jordan, and now he has the greatest show on earth. He's got Ball in the family.
Right.
He's got LeVar, and he's got LaMelo, and the whole Ball, dare I say, mystique or whatever you want to call it,
Right.
the phenomenon.
Yes.
And it's a great sideshow for him, because I will tell you this. I will be watching Charlotte games next year, and I'll bet you will too.
Yeah, I want to see how well he does in a real structured environment.
Exactly. And the team is not very good, and it wasn't very good last year. But
I like Graham, the rookie.
Hey, Devontae Graham had a breakout year. He was 18 and 8 assists.
Right.
I'm not sure how much he's going to enjoy playing with or off.
The Williams kid from Kentucky.
Washington, PJ Washington, yeah. And Miles Bridges is not bad, and Cody Zeller's not bad. I thought Malik Monk was going to amount to something, and he's having all kinds of problems. And, you know, you look, Terry Rozier's there and scored 18 a game last year. So I don't know. You know what? It's watchable.
Right.
If you put LaMelo in the mix, at least for me, it might be must see.
But Skip, in order for what you hope to happen for Charlotte, LaMelo's going to have to be a superstar, because you said you win with superstars.
You do.
And they have some nice players, but they don't have a superstar. And I think the thing is, Mike is going to have to get the #1 pick, because the Skip is easy, because we can look back and say, okay, Mike was in the 2 slot. It'd have been interesting to see, had Portland been in the 2 slot, would they have taken Dame Lillard with the 2nd pick? Or would they have gone the 3 highest graded players on the board like everybody else was going to do? That's the question, Skip, because easy, when you're in the 8th spot, you're like, okay, we like this kid. People are not going to look at us crazy.
No.
But when you're in the top 3 and you take a guy that high, and people are like, hold on, wait a minute. Dame, it should turn out to be obviously the 2nd best. I believe he's the 2nd best player in that draft, behind AD. But Bradley Beal, could he have taken Bradley Beal? Sure, but everybody had Kill Griggs, just like Adam Morris. Adam Morrison.
Yep.
Skip, everybody had.
That was horrendous. I did not. I for one, said that's wrong. I said it before.
Skip, the dude was player of the year in college.
And he wound up crying on the floor when Gonzaga got eliminated. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
And then Kwame Brown, Skip. Skip, everybody was going to take Kwame.
I guess so.
Skip, how you 6'10 and a half, 6'11"?
I got it. And he wasn't awful, but he wasn't that guy.
Right.
Okay.
You expect great things at the #1 overall pick. You think Magic, you think Kareem, LeBron, Shaq.
Okay. Now, back to your opening statement that you were half kidding about. I'm not half kidding when I say I believe LeVar will hear one time from Michael Jordan, and I believe Michael's assistant will inform LeVar that he should show up at LaMelo's first practice, what it was, December 1st, whenever it is. Show up. I'm not kidding about this. This is the Jordan I know. And he will, through his assistant, inform LeVar, wear basketball clothing. You know, come ready to play basketball. And LeVar will be like, what? And when practice is over, maybe there'll be a few media members, and Michael, even at age 57, with a little bit of a potbelly now, and he's smoking way too many cigars for my taste, but I believe he will show up and say, you and I now, right here. 57 versus 53 years old, LeVar.
Man, look here. LeVar probably ain't did no movement like this in a very long time.
I would think
And that's
not.
the last thing that you want to do is go out there and tear a calf muscle or pop an Achilles. But I ain't fooling with Mike. Mike, I was just joking. You got it.
Okay.
And we'll keep it moving.
Okay. Because once upon a time, LeVar said, I would have killed him. And he was talking about when they were both in their primes, right? I would have killed him in one-on-one. Killed him?
I mean, look, LeVar would go probably try to play football while Michael's out there trying to play basketball. Because LeVar's a big man. I mean, you look at him now in his 50s, he's a big man. Mm-hmm. So you could imagine he was still a big man in his 20s.
Well, he played tight end in the National Football League for a minute.
Yeah.
Just for a minute.
Well, he was on the Jets practice squad, and then I think he was on Carolina for a minute. So obviously he has the physicality, but he ain't beat Mike no one-on-one.
Hey, I tweeted this last night. In their primes, Michael could have beaten him blindfolded in one-on-one because I saw Michael, like Corey Benjamin kid who made the statement, this is the year Michael retired, and they drafted Corey Benjamin at the bottom of the
Right.
first round from, was it Oregon State, I think it was. And on draft night, he said, oh, my only regret is that Mike's not here, so I could have beaten him in one-on-one. And it was mid-season that year at the Berto Center where they
Right.
practiced. Michael just shows up out of the blue and sweats. Tim Floyd's the new coach. He's like in awe of like, oh,
Right.
welcome, Mr. Jordan. And Michael says, would you mind if I played your kid one-on-one when you guys finish? No, if it's okay with him. And of course, what's Corey Benjamin to say? No, I'm going to run from it.
He done opened his mouth now.
I watched it. It was destruction, absolute annihilation.
Skip, you know how that is. I mean, when you think you're great, if you take the best basketball player and you put him on a football field, the worst corner will D him up.
Mm-hmm.
If you take the best football player and put him on a basketball court, the worst basketball player will light him up.
Sure.
You don't get to
I
just
got
because you're great in one sport, think you can cross into another sport and be great. It doesn't work like that.
I think LeVar played college basketball at Cal State, LA. That's where he met his wife, Tina, because she was on the women's team.
Yeah, so I get maybe it was Washington State. Didn't he go to Washington State?
He wound up there to play football.
Yeah,
I thought.
So I think that's where he met. I think that's where he met her.
LeVar's got kind of a hazy, hazy background.
So that's probably why Melo went all over the place, because LeVar has traveled as well as a young man too, trying to find out what he's going to do later in life. But Skip, I mean, I like the pick. I just hope the kid, and we're going to talk about LeVar and his influence on these kids in another segment.
Yep.
But I like the pick, and I just hope LeVar has been said, hey, he's going to be good. He's going to be good. He's going to be better than the oldest. He's going to be bigger than the oldest. He has more, he said, I think he had a brother that's like 6'9", 6'8", 6'9", and so.
Yep.
Skip, look, that's a large figure, man. That's a lot. And Skip, you get that. Think about it. You're like, when Magic was around, man, that's a large figure for someone. Even for LeBron. But if you're not LeBron James, Skip, and you see Magic Johnson standing over there with his arms folded on the wall, you see that guy with the bald head and the dark eyes standing on Skip. That's a large figure looming.
Yeah, Magic was just as large to me because it was Lakers for Lonzo, you mean?
Yes.
And Magic announced at the opening media session, his jersey will one day hang in these rafters.
Yes.
It will?
Yes. That's an awful lot, but I just hope Melo just goes in there, bees himself. And I don't think it's Skip. Look, the way his dad has brought him up, he understands who Michael Jordan is. But I just think that he just wants to go in there and show that, okay, you took me with the third pick. Let me show you why.
I just don't think the spotlight is too bright for these kids because they've lived in a fishbowl their whole life.
For the last 4 years, I mean, they got their own TV show, Ball in the Family, and he's all over. He was all over I think he's prepared for this moment. Now
he will be prepared.
18 years old, got to get he already got a bank account. But hey.
So to your point, going into this draft, there's no Shaq. There's no Magic. There's no LeBron. And yet Anthony Edwards, to me, is fine. He's a solid pick for Jenny's Timberwolves, but he's just okay. It's like he's not going to change your life. And I like James Wiseman more than I did Anthony Edwards. But will James Wiseman change life in Golden State? I don't think so. If anybody could potentially reach greatness, it's this kid. He's the most talented.
Right.
He's just got all kinds of flaws that got to get fixed pretty quickly, or this league will eat him alive like Lonzo got eaten alive for his rookie year.
Yeah, but Skip, how do you change a shot? The guy he's been shooting that shot for 18 years.
I don't know.
How do you break it down? It's like, okay,
Lonzo changed his last year. It took 3 years, but he started changing it. And guess what? He shot 38% from three last year in an abbreviated season.
So do you tinker with it out the box, or you just let him? Or you
That's
just let him
up
go?
to the GOAT. The GOAT's got a big decision to make because I would tinker immediately. I'm going to get my shot doctor, my shooting guru in there, and I'm going to try to fix it sooner than later. You can't let it linger because it doesn't work. And my only issue with LeVar has been from the start. You cared so much about these kids. How did you let both of them shoot so unorthodox a shot that by the time they get to pro basketball, it's just broken?
Skip, it was going in.
I guess so. He did. Again, I kept telling you, why did I love Lonzo coming out of UCLA? He made 41% from the college three-point line.
I give you a prime example, Skip. If you watch the way Tyreek runs, his form is you shouldn't run like that.
Yep.
But when you run 20.9 in high school and you run 10.2, 10.3 in high school,
I'll buy that.
You leave that alone. Skip, we'll let somebody else fix it. And then when you get to college, if he goes pro, we'll let a professional get. And that's what they did with LaMelo. The high school's like, well, if he goes to college, we'll let them fix it. And if he goes to the NBA, we'll let them fix it. And everybody just keep kicking the can down the road until here we are.
But running is one thing. It's just like God's gift. You just do it. You just run the way you run, and if it works, it works.
Yeah,
but a shot is such a delicate motion that it requires touch and repeatability that it better be right. You better be able to trust it under fire. I give you a prime example,
Phillip Rivers.
Yep.
You shouldn't throw the ball like Phillip Rivers.
No.
You should have the over. You should have
I can't even describe how it works, but it works.
It's like, yeah.
Okay.
But like you said, it worked for what? Over 60,000 yards.
60,000 yards. Well, maybe this kid will work, but again, it's not even working at the lower level.
Well, Jamal Wilkes had an unorthodox shot, Skip. Remember the round the head?
Do I? I thought Larry Bird's was a little bit unorthodox because it's completely
because he couldn't even see the ball.
No. I hope, but